from Madhya Pradesh to IIT Bombay. That's where your love for the capital markets personally started.
I used to watch sometimes CNBC as well. Used to host one show there.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's how read a lot of books and got into excited about capital markets.
Take me through that period of being at Flipkart, working in the e-commerce space, and then deciding to go the capital market route.
The Flipkart was converting from retail to marketplace. And I was one of the first product managers there to kind of build that. Very lucky to meet my co-founders there.
One guy who's spontaneous, another who's a thinker and numbers person. Which bucket or which category do you find yourself in?
I'm nowhere, I think.
Nowhere?
I think my strength lies in identifying people. So I ensured that my co-founder should be smarter than me. Then two of us came. Then we thought third one should be smarter than us.
From 0 to 14 to 15 million. What would you say has been the biggest learning so far?
One of the biggest factors in startups is timing. Why now? Less than 20 million, active investors at that time.
Yeah.
Very, very few.
Yeah.
So it makes sense. So mutual fund app, and they're I think some 30-40 apps listed on the Play Store, or Signal.
Yeah. Then how do you create a moat around yourself? How are you different?
So I remember in 2002 or 3, I opened my Demat account. And the person did not even kind of entertain me. So I was in chappal, and as a student you go there and come to and so on. And then after conviction, after some convincing, filled the form. 2 days, 3 days, and opened my account. By the time you're gone, your interest is lost.
Yeah.
So the point was you find one problem area at a time and then kind of figure out that you have this right to win in this market.
What your data is telling you at this point in time about the investing culture?
Mutual fund used to be very low, by the way, in low single digits. And now it is at high single digits. Stocks used to be high single digit and it's slightly higher single digit.
Yeah.
Indian middle class, very large, and we are at around the 70-80 million mark.
What are the top 3 things that you will never do?
We will not do e-commerce, unregulated products. We will not do anything which is not good for the customer.
Hello and welcome to the Young Turks Reloaded podcast. I'm Shereen Bhan. My guest today has had quite an interesting journey, starting from his roots in Madhya Pradesh to IIT Bombay to his entrepreneurial start with an education startup called EduFlix. He decided to bet on India's capital markets 9 years ago along with his 3 co-founders. Let's talk to Lalit Keshre about the Groww story, more importantly, where it's headed from here on. Lalit, many thanks for joining us here on the Young Turks podcast. And that's where I want to start with you. I mean, it's really been quite a journey, right? From Madhya Pradesh to IIT Bombay. That's where your love for the capital markets personally started, but it took a while for it to convert itself into a business opportunity.
No, thank you so much, first of all, Shereen. I've been following this show for many years now, and it's great to kind of be here. So I think I'm very grateful about this journey right now. So I was in a small village, my parents were in a village, and I got
Lepa.
Yeah. So and then but there were no schools there, so I studied with my Nanaji grandparents and Nanaji Naniji, and I was lucky that that year itself there was an English medium school there. It just got started, and as I progressed, that school also kind of went till 12th, and then I was lucky again that I got to know about this IITs, but nobody around me knew about them. Just lucky to kind of got in IIT Bombay. I was just there day before yesterday, and of nostalgia and so on. But I think
it's not just luck that helps you get into IIT.
No, of course. There was I got access to kind of lot of stuff also. There used to be this brilliant tutorials in Chennai at that time. They used to send you books and so on. So thanks to a bunch of these folks, got in there. And then, as you said, that's where I came to know, like, the one advantage of Bombay is, like, at that time also there was a lot of entrepreneurial, like in 99, 2000, 2001, like everybody was starting startups, .coms and so on.
Yeah.
And at that time, somehow I came to know that, you can invest in stocks, and, they are publicly listed companies.
Huh.
Primarily because one of my kind of wing mates got an internship in one listed company and so on, and that's how, like, got into a rabbit hole of. And then I just told you, like, I used to watch, like, sometimes CNBC as well. You used to host one show there.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's how, like, read a lot of books and got into excited about capital markets.
But at that point in time, capital markets was a passion. It was something that you were personally and individually sort of taken by, but the idea of converting that into a business opportunity didn't occur to you.
No, absolutely not. Like, no, I was doing, so in student and in IIT, I did a student startup in medtech devices. Again, I've been very selfish in, like, looking at my own problems. So I had this allergy in the campus because of some pollen. So created this device which was like allergen detector.
Okay.
And of course, when you
But isn't that the starting point of great ideas, where you actually encounter a problem yourself and then try and solve it?
Yeah, so that's my philosophy in consumer business. I think it's always better to kind of solve for you, so that you have at least one customer.
Guaranteed.
Guaranteed customer, right? And the second startup was also, like, similar. Like, so I was in that small town and no coaching classes and so on. So this EduFlix was about kind of like education for all through internet, through videos and so on. And likewise Groww as well.
Well, before we get to Groww, in the middle you also went the e-commerce route, and ended up at Flipkart.
Yes.
And which is where you met your co-founders.
Yeah.
And then 2016, of course, began a whole new journey with Groww. But take me through that period of being at Flipkart, working in the e-commerce space, and then deciding to go the capital market route.
Sure. So Flipkart was like, so my startup didn't work out. We were not able to scale. So we shut it down. We returned money to all the investors. And then, like, what next? So one option was to get into some MNC, do product management job, or other was to get into startups. At that time, I don't think you had too many choices to invite entrepreneurs, right? Flipkart was the largest one at that time.
Yeah.
We got in. And was again they're lucky as well. Like, Flipkart was converting from retail to marketplace, and I was like one of the first product managers there to kind of build that. So got that opportunity there. Kind of realized, this people ordering things from t-shirt from Delhi taking like 5 days. We saw the NPS score across 5 days, 4 days, 3 days. Like, as the number of days reduce, your NPS goes very, very high.
Yeah.
And we thought, okay, why not 1 hour? So started this company called Flipkart Quick within Flipkart, sponsored by founders. Like, they were very encouraging and so on. So idea of Flipkart Quick was like, give everything in like instant.
So you were ahead of the quick commerce curve that we're seeing today.
We were ahead, but I don't think we had so much conviction. Like, I think timing was not probably the right at that time, because e-commerce itself was like, marketplace itself was kind of taking off. And I think timing was also bad, because at that time, 2015, if you remember, like, the ecosystem was a bit kind of shaken because of a bunch of things. But that was like very crazy experience, and that's when like and when that didn't go through, then kind of started thinking about something else, and then was very lucky to meet my co-founders there, like and that's how we kind of got started.
But it wasn't as if you kind of met and decided that this is what you're going to do. You actually spent some time thinking this through and working with the four of you together to just ensure that you have an idea that can be executable.
Yes. So I think, so I'll tell you a story about how we kind of so Harsh, so I have 3 co-founders.
Yes.
Like and we so I ensured that my co-founder should be smarter than me. Then 2 of us came. Then we thought third one should be smarter than us, and this is what happened actually. So Harsh, so I used to work with Itium Systems right from campus. I came to Bangalore, and he moved from IT Delhi. So we know each other since 2005. And then there was so I was interviewing for some product managers, and I see him in on Zoom call from US. And I was like, now I can't take interview because I know you so well. So, then, but somehow he got through other interviews and inside. And then he joined the same team. And then when I moved to Flipkart Quick, he took over what I was doing at Flipkart Marketplace and so on. And when he came, his idea was to stay for 3-4 years. He was excited about Indian story and so on. But then I told him, I asked him, I'm thinking about something to start and so on. And two of us then kind of started thinking about it. This was around 2016.
Yeah.
And then we thought, it's been so long that we have coded. You need so the vision was to build a tech company in financial services. Now, no idea what we are going to do or what, but we thought that tech will be basic, the core component of it. And we need a very, very solid tech person. And Neeraj used to work with me. And I just asked him or the breakfast. And within 5 minutes, he said, yes, I am in. He didn't. So he is that kind of a person. He's spontaneous, very, very spontaneous. Whatever he feels he just kind of does it. And right. So 3 of us then started. And then I was having lunch with Ishan. Ishan used to look at Corp Dev at Flipkart. And I asked him, that I'm thinking like this and so on. What do you think? And he was like, he said that he had been thinking about this since his college days. He is a finance guy, proper finance guy. Very, very passionate about investing. He's a numbers guy among all 4 of us. And he's like, I am also kind of excited about it, but I'll have to think. He is a thinker. He took 2 days, checked with his wife, arranged for his personal finance and everything. And then 2 days later, he came to me and, okay, I'm in. That's how 4 of us kind of started. We quit and then started working on it.
So one guy who's spontaneous, another who's a thinker and the numbers person, which bucket or which category do you find yourself in?
So I'm nowhere, I think.
Nowhere?
I think my expertise, I feel is that my strength lies in identifying people. And that's my strength. So I think the only thing that I did was to get these folks together and the initial team and everything. And then kind of setting up the purpose, what we want to do and so on. But then everybody has very, very crazy superpowers that kind of they come with.
Yes, well, we'll talk about those superpowers in just a second. But, starting from scratch and building out Groww into what it is today, and how many active users do you have today?
So we are around 14 to 15 million customers on the platform.
Okay, so that journey from 0 to 14 to 15 million, I'm sure that there's been plenty of ups and downs along the way. There's been plenty of learnings. What would you say has been the biggest learning so far for you in the last 9 years?
The biggest learning has been that team is everything. Because in last 9 years, we have been through so many highs and lows.
But the last few years, largely high, at least as far as the markets are concerned.
So that's what. So what you see from outside is very different from what is inside.
Yeah.
What if I told you that so in 2015, while I was at Flipkart, I was getting term sheets from VCs, just go out and start. We get out in 2016 and those,
the market dries up.
Boom kind of done.
Yeah.
And there is no funder available. And, and we raised some angel money from Mukesh, Ankit and so on, our Flipkart folks. But largely till 2019, till peak 15 round, for 3 years, which is also good, by the way. In hindsight, I think that it was very good that we kind of got a lot of time to materialize, to figure out what we really want to build. Get very solid team bonding. Everybody, initial team members working hours and hours together. You calculate the number of hours that we worked together before we kind of.
How many would you say you worked together before you actually started?
So founders, if you look, Harsh and I go since 2005. Neeraj, 9 plus 3, 12 years. Ishan, 11 years. Right? That's the kind of, and the initial folks were almost all the folks that we hired were people that we knew, right? All the hiring. So all the, even in our leadership team, for example, lot of, we have had at least 3 years or 4 years of dating before they joined Groww, right?
So you believe that that's important to really know and have chemistry and understanding of a person before you actually hire them?
I think so, because it's not like sprint, right? It's a marathon, and then you will go through crazy emotions, ups and downs, and and you need to know a person really, really well, and you also need to enjoy working with them. That's
Yeah.
like also very important, because success is like it's not necessary that success will come.
Yeah.
But at least that part of the journey should be fun.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you there. But, let's also talk about the landscape that you were operating in when you decided to start in 2016. So there was already a few players
Yes.
in the market that had done what you were attempting to do. How much were you influenced by what was already out there?
So, Shreen, been in the startup world for so long and so on, right? And one thing that I learned, I mean, all the mistakes that happened, like EduFlakes, Fquake, and even that medical device and so on, that one of the biggest factors in startups is timing. Why now, right? So actually, it was a validation for us. And when we thought about this market, see, everything makes sense. India is large, middle class is growing, wealth of India is growing, wealth moving from, real estate, what is that called, gold, to, financial, like mutual funds, just started at that time and so on. And it looked like what happened in developed nations would happen in India. If you look at Nifty 50, like, what is the largest, biggest sector? Financial services. What is the biggest profit pool? Financial services. Where what is the penetration in India? Very low, like less than 20 million, active investors at that time. Very, very few. So it makes sense. But then it might stay like that for next 20 years. So why now it becomes important? And then why now became clear in some ways. One thing is that we saw a lot of startups coming in this, and that is like a signal to me, like, when quick commerce, for example, happened, lot of companies come together at the same time. So anything, if some idea happens, then it's not just one single entrepreneur most of the time who kind of thinks about it. It's many more folks. So that was like a good indication for us
that this was the good time to get started.
I remember when we just got out, and I was thinking, okay, and we were figuring out how to start in financials. So mutual fund was some mutual fund app, and they were like, I think some 30, 40 apps listed on the Play Store. Or like Signal.
No, but that's also important, because then how do you create a moat around yourself? How are you different? I mean, better is a claim, but different is actually something that the marketplace expects of you, especially when you're up against already existing incumbents. So how did that drive you to build differently and build a different product?
So startups, it's again very contrarian thought process that we spend just too much time in figuring out different, and so of course in later years you need to, like, now we think a lot about how we are different and so on, but in initial years I think it's about understanding the customer's kind of need. And so I'll ask you, like, okay, so so many apps, but then why only so many people are investing? That's right. If there are
discretionary income, spending capacity,
there's a lot of money in India.
Risk-taking ability.
Yeah, so those are like hypotheses. So you basically start and trying out one after other, and then you realize, okay, there is one gap which we have, like, right to win, which is like making things very simple, transparent, and delightful for customers. So for example, risk averse, or you generally get scared. You go to some website, you open an account, it takes like 2-3. So I remember in 2002 or 3, I opened my Demat account, and the person did not even kind of entertain me. So I was in chappal, and as a student you go there and like, so kala, like, come to, like, and so on. And then after conviction, after some convincing, fill the form, 2 days, 3 days, like, and open my account. By the time you're like gone, like, your interest is like lost. So account opening process, again, the structural change that happened was like, Aadhaar, and like, we always say, right, we are like so crazy grateful to, like, all these, the timing of DPI and Aadhaar, UPI and everything. We wouldn't have been, like, Groww wouldn't have wouldn't exist if they were not there. So the point was, like, you find one problem area at a time, and then kind of figure out that you have this right to win in this market.
Well, speaking about the right to win in this market, and let's talk about what's happening in the environment currently. I mean, as I said, we've had a bull run right through the COVID period, and again, it was unexpected because people actually thought that the world was going to shut down, and here you had the capital markets the world over delivering phenomenal returns, and you've now got a new class of investors who've been drawn into the stock markets, given what we've seen happen in the last few years, specifically younger investors, women who are investing in the stock markets. These are all sort of new trends that we've seen in the last few years. But now, with the kind of pain that we're starting to see, and it's only the starting point of the pain that we're starting to see at this point, volumes have been impacted. How are you seeing things at this point?
So we are asked this question a lot, and I think the way we look at it is that from Grow's strategy perspective, we think very long term. And we believe that in long term, these trends, this very long term trends that we are seeing will continue. And namely, like India's growth may be 6%, 8%. So, but this compounding over like next 10, 20 years is going to be like crazy. I don't think any other country will grow like India for next few decades and so on, right? And then penetration will continue happening. Tech will help in more and more penetration of more and more products and so on. Wealth people will continue looking for transparency. Like Bezos, like you bet on things that are not going to change. And one is that, people will not go, okay, I'll go from transparent to opaque way, or, convenience to non-convenience and so on. Right? And so these kind of trends will continue happening. And we are kind of working on those trends, democratizing wealth in the country. I think country is going to, like, people are going to get wealthier. They will need products to kind of make it easy, make it like transparent, and so on.
Well, speaking about wealth creation as well as deepening of the equity culture, and we've seen, at CNBC-TV18, we've been doing this 25 years, so we've seen that happen during the course of our own journey. But, do you believe that at least in the near term, the retail investor is going to keep the faith? Do you believe in the near term, the retail investor is not going to throw in the towel given what is happening?
No, I don't know. Like, I mean, I don't know. Like, near term, what happens? So, I think we have seen these kind of things, right? So I've been following markets for not as much as you, but maybe 2 decades and so on. But and these kind of things happen, right? There are bear markets there. We are not even sure where are we right now.
Yeah.
And there will be markets will go down. It's nature of markets. And generally we have seen that the growth of new investors coming in the market has correlation with the market's kind of levels and so on. So, but overall, in longer journey, I think we will continue seeing good growth in participation in, and we say equity markets, but Groww is not just about equity. It's going to become like 360, 360-degree. You're like the entire wealth, whatever you need from diversification perspective.
And we'll talk about the product diversification in a second. But again, let's talk about the trends that you're seeing and what your data is telling you at this point in time about the investing culture that has taken off in India. In fact, to the point where the government started getting worried and banks started getting worried about the fact that deposits were moving towards the stock markets. What's the data telling you today on where we are as far as the addressable market is concerned, but also what the headroom for growth is likely to be?
Sure. See, today, if you look at the active investors in the market, right? Again, numbers might be here and there, but I think mutual fund would be around 50 million unique, 50, 60 million, and then stocks would be around similar number, and superset would be around 70, 80 million, and so on. And participation perspective, mutual fund used to be very low, by the way, in like low single digits. And now it is at like high single digits. Ownership, I'm talking about the ownership of the stock market.
Yeah.
Stocks used to be high single digit and it's slightly higher single digit.
Yeah.
Right? It's not like, so there's a lot of narrative, okay, retailer. But if you look at the ownership perspective, it's still like mutual fund has seen higher growth in terms of ownership and so on, indirect ownership. And I think that is one way, like, probably will grow even faster than direct ownership. From the numbers perspective, you can think, right? So, like Indian middle class, great Indian middle class, right? It's very large, and we are at around the 70-80 million mark. And it's anybody's guess, where can it go to percentage-wise.
So, you were talking about the fact that Groww today is much beyond just equities. And that's been a sort of conscious strategy on your part to be able to address different segments of the market with different products as well. Again, what's been the learning there, and where do you believe the gaps continue to exist that you would like to plug specifically?
Yeah. No, so our biggest learning, Shereen, when we started actually, this Groww in current format was not our first product.
Yeah.
There was a pivot.
Yeah.
When we started, we thought,
Isn't that usually the case for most successful businesses, that it's actually the third or the fourth iteration that is the one that is the successful iteration that exists?
Yeah. But we were lucky. We were like, in just one pivot, we kind of found what we were kind of looking for. In the first one, what we thought was, we will build an advisor. So the hypothesis was, okay, customers don't know what to buy. So tell them what they should buy, right? So we build an AI kind of advisor, and Ishan and the rest of the folks, they came up an algo where, and risk averse you talked about, right? So it's built an algo where people don't lose money. So you start with liquid fund, and as they make some money in liquid fund, then you start putting in some equity, and then long-term debt, and then equity, and so on.
Right.
So this is like very full, like, you just can continue saving, like, and save whatever you want. And we'll ensure that you keep building wealth and so on. And we thought it's a very beautiful product because people are risk averse and so on. And we got two insights from that. We realized that people are actually not risk averse.
Yeah.
And second thing was, especially a certain segment of customers. And second thing was that people want selection. Now you are telling them to do something, but what we learned is that customers are very smart. They want like more data, more selection. Like at Flipkart also we learned that, right? Or show me more mobile phones, show me more this thing and so on, right? And
but in this business, और क्या दिखाओ?
Mutual funds इतने सारे ना, आप पहले you are just showing 3 mutual funds and buy these. And now customers, why these 3? What are the others?
Yeah.
So then we thought, and there was no platform where you can, go and see everything, the whole detailed information, buy, very simple buy process. Like, why not just, so rest all other apps are more or less robo-advisors and advice and so on. So we thought, let's just build this. And this was like very big insight where we were just mutual. By the way, for first 4 years, the only product that was available was mutual funds. And we just kind of made it just so simple and so transparent. So what happened was we built a search. You search for any mutual fund. There is a product, beautiful product page. You should check out our, there's Graph. There are you need to know about fund manager. You need to know about past performance, expense ratio, tax, everything. Right? What are the other funds for?
The
what
history,
is the
geography.
What is, everything.
And everything in between.
So whatever is the holding and so on. And later when you launch stocks, then holding, you can look at the stocks also.
Yeah.
Right. So that was and then payment, very kind of simple payment, very simple onboarding and so on. And first month when we launched after the pivot, we thought, 100 customer ho jayenge to maza, it will be fun. It will be good feeling. And we got 600 customers. And at that time, getting customers was so tough. And we did not do any marketing. It was just, some friends. So earlier what we used to do, we would create so Flipkart se nikle to Flipkart ka ek group bana diya. फिर our friends and family, there is group number 1, group number 2, group number 3. There are hundreds of groups where people just ask questions. So to get insights from the customers, what are they looking for? But and our GTM was told them, okay, we launched this Groww, check her out. And then they will invite other customers and pure word of mouth. In fact, first few years, we did not do any marketing. The word of mouth, even today, for example, in more than 70% of our customers are organic customers, all word of mouth. So, so that was another kind of big insight that we had, that if customers really feel about something, really feel good about some product, then they talk about it. They go out of their way to kind of talk about it to their friends and families.
Yeah. You were speaking about customers and tech as well. And I think two claims that literally every company makes is one, that we're a tech company, and two, that we're customer obsessed. Now, from a Groww point of view, what does that mean? Simple language, from a layperson's perspective, what does it mean to be a tech company for Groww, and what does it mean to be customer obsessed?
Yeah, tech is eating everything. Like, the way we look at tech
Breakfast,
is
lunch, dinner, all of that.
Yeah. But tech is like, I'm a techie. I've been an engineer. And my co-founders are techie. Like, all are engineers. We solve today, like, most of our time actually goes in building products. And I think that's what defines a tech company. Like, the tech is the primary solution to, like, most of the problems. And not like, so we don't, for example, we don't have an army of sales folks. Nobody will call and tell you, oh, do this, do that. No, everything is tech driven. All the user experience is defined through tech and so on. But yeah, you can say that everything is tech, which is what it is going to be, right? Tech is eating everything away. So I don't know if I answered that.
No, I'm getting some clarity on how it probably creates boundaries of what you should not be doing. I think it clarifies what you should be doing, but it probably also puts boundaries on what you should not be doing.
Yeah, you're right. And there's a long list, by the way, of things that we will never do.
Like what? What are the top 3 things that you will never do?
So one is we will not. So Groww will continue to be focused on building wealth for the customers. We'll not do like e-commerce. We'll not do like anything which is like, distracting. Number 2, we will mostly do regulated products. Like we will not do like unregulated products. And third is like, we will not do anything which is not good for the customer. Right? We'll not kind of do customer come first and so on. And there are a bunch of other not do things and so on. Another thing is also we'll not do something which we can't build 10x better customer experience ourselves, right? And which we will not do ourselves on the. So we have one of the commandments: be the power user of your own product. And if you will not be the power user of that product, we'll not build it. Right? So, and that's why like there's a lot more focus in the company.
Well, speaking of superpowers, as well as the power user of the company that drives everything that's happening at Groww, from your vantage point today, 9 years on, what are the priorities now as you look at the opportunities that exist, as you look at the customer, where the customer has evolved? What are the opportunities that you're going to chase after? What do you prioritize today?
So, the biggest one is to so our goal is to become like the default wealth platform in the country, where people think about building their wealth on Groww. And what we have seen is that a lot of our customers have got wealthy in last, older customers, and now a lot of wealthy customers coming. And they need lot more tools now, lot more products. So on one side, there is simplicity and transparency for like millions of customers. And then now people are getting more and more affluent, HNIs and so on. We'll be building more products for them. And so that is one kind of direction. Other direction is now a lot of power traders on the platform. And again, they also need a lot more tools and so on. So for last 2-3 years, we've been building some tools that we have built that do not exist outside and so on. So that is another kind of direction that we'll take up and so on. And lastly, selection, the holistic view of wealth is very, very important. That is you can't say, okay, I want to invest in this and you don't have that. You need to have all the products. So filling all the gaps across multiple products, we need to have those as well. So creating the full basket for the customer.
Yeah. Well, speaking of creating the full basket for the customer, you're also operating in an environment that has seen a fair degree of regulatory change. It's also seen a fair degree of regulatory clampdown, especially when we talk about the F&O side, when we talk about, True Label Circular and so on and so forth. From that perspective, how does it change the business case for a company like yours? How much does regulation decide or define your destiny today?
So, see, one good thing, so we are a regulated, all the business that you are regulated businesses. One good thing, what has worked for us over last 9 years is that the philosophy of regulator is customer protection. Philosophy of Groww is customer obsession, like, do everything for customer and so on. And they match. Now, they're kind of short-term kind of these things, where we have to make a lot of changes immediately and those kind of things. But apart from that, I think more or less, if you see all the regulations that have come over last many years, they have all benefited Groww. Like, KYC regulations or peak margin regulations or so they increase the trust in the system. A system में trust increase होता है तो people transact online, people invest, they know that, okay, I'm buying a stock, this stock is safe. If I'm transferring money, this money is safe. So it always helps to,
in the long term.
Expanding the markets, right? So overall in mutual funds, bunch of regulations came, nominee, that again more trust. Okay, now there is a nominee and something happens to me there. So I think it has always worked good.
But the concern, and some of your competitors have spoken about it as well, that this could in fact have profitability, at least in their case. I mean, what could it potentially mean even as far as your business is concerned?
So our salience is slightly lower for trading products. You're talking about, I think, F&O regulations.
Yes. Well, not just the F&O regulations, but the F&O regulations also.
See, in long term, our feeling is that I think in long term, having some sanity is always good. And you can't expect growing 200%. Or whatever X percentage and so on, and not go down and so on, right? So,
but I was looking through that F&O boom that we saw while the regulators were also kind of signaling that you need to be careful and so on and so forth. You were pretty much doing the same. I mean, I remember seeing a bunch of your tweets, etc., also sort of cautioning people to say, hey, look, the party does have an end. Again, take me back to what was the surprising aspect of what you were seeing happen on that side?
No, so see, we were always very cautious on this F&O thing, right? And as you rightly said, we around, I think when it was at peak, right? We were really scared about kind of some of the things that were happening, and so we built a lot of responsibility features within the app. There's this called Safe Exit, where people could set in what maximum loss they can have, or Safeguard, where we'll block some customers who are continuously losing money and then upload more documents to kind of continue. We created this F&O pause. Customers can voluntarily pause their F&O and those kind of things. There are a bunch of other things as well, low liquidity. So we'll warn anti-nudges, if you're placing a trade and, it's very kind of illiquid or risky trade, we would warn. We still do that. And then customers can still go ahead, but at least, we are shaking customer a bit, just think about it. And
but was there ever a pushback saying that, what do you care? Let me do what I want to do with my money?
So in one of the features, there was a big pushback, the Safeguard one, where we used to kind of just block the customer. Let's say if you're losing money 5 days, 10 days, then we were okay, block, a soft block basically. First 30 days, you submit these documents, otherwise we'll block it. If customer can submit document of very high net, so let's say somebody losing 10,000 rupees and his net worth is 10 crore rupees, then it's fine, you upload. Yeah. But if you're losing 2 lakh rupees and your net worth is lesser, then you can't trade. And then that's when the backlash happened, because you are just a tool. So you are so we also have very few customers who are just F&O, less than 1%, right? But rest of well building and so on, right? So our numbers are kind of slightly different, but yeah, we had those.
the pushback saying, let me do what I want to do with my money. Who are you to tell me what to do with it?
Yes, we had that.
But do you believe that it was necessary, for the regulator, for the government, etc., and for players and participants like you to actually put the brakes on? Were you worried? You said that you were concerned at the peak at what was going on. Did you believe that this could potentially have the implications of even posing a systemic risk?
So I don't have that kind of a view about, I think regulators know a lot more about the risk, systemic risk, and the entire ecosystem and everything. The way we were thinking was more from customer protection perspective. See, we are, again, the philosophy of Groww is to build wealth for people and so on. And there's this tool, and we have to have that. We can't say, okay, we will not have F&O on the platform.
Yeah.
Right, because that's also like customer need choice.
Yeah.
Plus also it's like, revenue profits for the company and sustainability and so on. But we were concerned more about that, and we were thinking from that perspective, not from like overall. That's like regulators are a lot more kind of knowledgeable about all the things that are happening.
Speaking of the future, one of the big changes that you decided to make was, of course, you're one of the companies that reverse flipped and moved your domicile to India, ostensibly, of course, with the hope and the possibility of IPOing. But what was that like? Because, it's few companies have gone down that road at this point in time, and it also comes with a pretty hefty bill. But what was the experience of reverse flipping?
Well, it was like grueling experience. We in 2018. So I told, right, we started in 2016. We raised some angel, but we needed more capital because we were thinking of moving to direct mutual funds, which is like zero revenue for next I don't know how many years. We needed capital. And YC was one good kind of option for us.
Yeah.
So we applied to YC, we got in. And based on...
And for those of you who are watching, YC is Y Combinator. Yes.
Y Combinator, right? And but we got feedback from a lot of seniors and from YC, and that, better to incorporate in US because funding is easy, right? Raising money in the US. So us time pe you don't think about 5 years down the line, 10 years. No, you think about from your purpose perspective, but first you need to, so I say, right, in long term, everybody is dead, but, to think long term, you need to keep doing short term.
Yeah.
So we incorporated in the US at that time. And then we paid for that last year.
Yes, you paid quite literally for that decision. But again, coming back to that decision to, in a sense, move back home to where the business actually is, and again, as I pointed out, ostensibly with the possibility and the hope of IPOing. So take me through the fact that you knew that you would have had to pay a fairly hefty bill, but you thought that it was worth taking that call.
Yeah, see, everything is in India. Your customer is in India. You are in India, like we are in India. Your office, like everything is in India, and then you are head office. So it did not make sense. So short term, it's a pain. Again, you have to take a lot of short term pain for long term gain, so on. And this is one of those decisions. Like we were okay with that, and we could afford also because a company has been profitable for so many years, and this was also right time. Typically, if you're raising capital, then it becomes tough because the process itself is very long. You go through NCLT process and those kind of things.
Yeah. Well, you said you could afford to take that decision and you could afford to make that call because of the fact that the company's been sitting on profitability. But again, I go back to building the business with the idea of the business being profitable, because what we have seen in the startup ecosystem, and perhaps to a large measure because of the kind of money that was available, very freely available, that wasn't a focus. And it's now being prioritized today. Everybody's talking about, let's not focus on burn, let's focus on profitability at this point in time. And that's rewiring and re-engineering businesses. What was the conversation like when you started about how important it would be to ensure that you were profitable?
So we, to be very monetization was the last question that we answered in our journey. And I don't advise to everybody, but for consumer business, sometimes, so we had this framework, okay. So build a platform which is like very low CAC, low customer acquisition cost, very high retention, very high engagement, and customers should love you. Basically, they should talk about it. If these four are met for consumer platform, then more or less everything
पैसा आ जाएगा.
पैसा बाद में आ सकता है.
आ सकता है.
Right, in a startup you need to take that bet. That's what we thought about. And for first 4 years, we were just a mutual fund company, direct mutual fund, no zero rev. We actually started with regular mutual fund. कि धंधा अच्छे से बने. Coming from e-commerce burning background, we thought कि business should be sustainable. So we started with regular fund.
So that the scars of the e-commerce story had taught you lessons.
Yeah, so economy. So one of the checkpoint that four of us created, like, कि business should be like very solid business, the kind of business that we would invest in. That was like one of the benchmark. And so basically the regular mutual fund, so पैसा आ रहा है, but फिर customer demand direct, like if in all our WhatsApp group, why Groww is so nice platform, why not direct? We'll ask, how will we make money then? And like, it's not customer's job to tell you how will you make money. You have to figure out yourself. But first you have to listen to customer, raise money, and then move to direct. That was like what it was.
But speaking of raising money, and I think it's an important question that that many founders have to sort of grapple with. Who do you bring on board as investors? How much do you dilute? At what stage do you dilute? How did you address some of these questions amongst the four of you when you were going about fundraising, for instance? And again, what were the checks and balances? What were the do's and don'ts that you put on the table as you made those decisions?
Yeah, so we have been again lucky there as well in getting kind of the partners or long-term partners and very, very solid brand names. So we had this criteria that first thing was like we had very thick skin when we started. So two of us, Harsh and I, had previous startups. So this is like, so we're like, अच्छे से बनाएंगे इस बार, like, no hurry. So we did not raise institutional round for like first 3 years. And then when we raised, we had this, okay, people should, first, the same criteria how you kind of look for in your team member, that, you should have fun working with them. They should be long-term thinkers. Yeah. Second thing, they should understand this philosophy. So we were very clear, this is all you're thinking, these 4 things that I told you. And the fifth, monetization, question mark. But this is like very high probability that we will make. And so, this long-term philosophy that, customer obsession and so on. We are not going to kind of do short-term tactics to make revenue and so on, those kind of things. So these were the check boxes. And like, again, lucky, like in all our kind of rounds, we kind of got good partners along the way.
The monetization, big question mark here. At what point did you believe comfortable and ready to say that, okay, now we have clear line of sight on how we monetize this business?
As a consumer guy, the first month when we got 600 customers and when customers were kind of started talking about it, so it's like the thought process was that if you have like billions of dollars of AUM and money flowing through you, I think customers won't mind if there is some flowing to the company for sustainable. So that was but the real practical way, if you ask me, when we launched the second product, which was stocks, and we started charging for it. So our kharcha bahut kam tha hamari. So we raised a lot of money, but we have not spent money. Like before paying the taxes and everything, like we had all the money that we have raised in the bank. Like the net in the J curve, the net negative, maximum that negative went was like hardly anything. Like, so sometimes people also ask me, like, why did you raise money if you not? But आपको पता नहीं होता है, like, that you'll never need.
It's more a buffer, it's a cushion.
It's confidence. It's like capital is an asset and so right? But coming to you, so that was the point when we started charging on transactions for in our stocks and derivatives and so on.
And this brings me to the larger question, I think, and the entire ecosystem is grappling with the issue at this point in time, is the paying capacity of the Indian customer. And there are different models operating at this point in time. And we were talking about quick commerce. I mean, people are willing to pay for convenience. And people are willing to pay a significant amount for convenience at this point in time. Again, what's been the learning as far as the paying capacity, the paying ability, the spending power of the Indian consumer, and what it means for businesses like yours?
My learning is like, don't presume anything is what I have learned, like, because any kind of playbook, right? Startups are outliers, right? And if somebody is giving some advice कि यार ये नहीं होता, ये हो ही नहीं सकता, या फिर ये ऐसा करो, this is based on their experience. And so quick commerce की बात करते हैं, like, let's say there is a 20-year-old experienced entrepreneur and he gives gyan on quick commerce. Like, how will they know about quick commerce? Right? Or so on. Right? So this is what my belief is, like, go like very low ego, like, just assume that you don't, a beginner's mindset, right? Just go with like zero, like, any kind of and like, you don't think yourself like a stud. You go like very humbly, कि भाई मेरे को कुछ नहीं आता है, and then think from beginner's mindset, and then understand customer behavior, and like things might happen. Like there's always probability that customers would pay, right?
Well, yeah.
And entrepreneurs bet on that, right?
Yeah, you have to bet on the fact that you will have that ability to be able to get a customer to pay for the service that you're providing. But speaking of Gyan and ego, what has that been like? I mean, where do you listen to Gyan from anywhere at this point in time, or anyone specifically at this point in time? And has there been anyone that you've kind of valued their opinion, their feedback, their advice on how you should run the business?
There are lots of them. Like
Yeah.
I kind of look up to like a lot of people. I read a lot, and I listen to a lot of folks. But it's just that you have to take it in your context.
Yeah.
And so on.
So what have been the big learnings from someone that you've read, someone that you've listened to, someone's career that you followed? Share some of those insights.
Sure. So mostly like, see, I also feel that nothing is original. Like all my thoughts are actually derivation of like what I read or what I heard from somebody, and and that's how you kind of build your intuition, your knowledge, and so on. Few things that I would tell you is like, so one thing, so Mukesh Bansal was our first investor, and then I am like a more product guy, and I don't like building people kind of managerial stuff and so on. And then he gave me this advice that, start looking at your organization as the product. So, org as a product. And then kind of my thought process changed. And then I started loving that, then we build like, very solid org structure, scalable org structure, and so on. Nandan Nilekani is another kind of, person who like, directly, like we at that time we did not interact, but the way he kind of thought about the system thinking, right? The way he thought, and we owe a lot to Aadhaar and and the way kind of he thought about connecting so many dots together. Like you feel overwhelmed. कि यार अच्छा grow इतना बड़ा company बनाना है, या you have to do something, and like sometimes you get just so overwhelmed कि ये बहुत बड़ा काम है. But then slowly, steadily connecting the dots, some things happen, and there is a probability that something will happen, and so on. So those are the kind of things. Then Satya has been kind of big, kind of, such a large company is running and growing at such a fast scale, even at that scale, and thinking like, some people say that he's playing like 5D chess, and he is an investor with Groww. And like we are super inspired by him as well, and there are like a lot of people whom we kind of look up to.
Well, speaking of looking up and looking forward, 2024 was a record year for the Indian IPO market, and specifically for new age tech companies IPOing. 2025 question mark at this point in time, given everything that's happening. But what about your plans?
We are, again, same old, like we are long-term players, and question marks will always be there in entrepreneur's life. And you need to be optimistic, and you need to play your game. Like, we'll figure out. There's no hurry. We have the luxury, we have the liberty of time. We have, the company is well kind of capitalized. We have good partners, long-term partners. So we will figure out. Like,
but do you believe that the IPO is a logical step as far as the company is concerned, as and when you decide to go down that route, because you've got to provide exits to current investors? Or do you believe that that is the right thing to do for the business? If you didn't have to provide exits, would you IPO?
So I would, because there are two things which are kind of very important. One is, so a lot of our investors, a lot of our kind of customers are actually investors.
Right.
And what if, just imagine, like, what if they also make money if Groww grows and so on, right? And I think, like, what if they become like partner in our journey? Like, they are customers, but they are becoming partner in our journey.
So shareholders of the company.
Shareholders of the company, right? So that is one kind of, I'm not sure if like we can talk about this, but we can kind of So this is one thing. And second thing is, I think it's also like so we are also like generally, we don't talk much, right? And so on. So like what Groww is about, it's more about transparency. Let people know about Groww, like business numbers, like finance numbers, our philosophy, people.
But you can do that even remaining private if you choose to. I mean,
Yeah, but I think I would rather not do it if I'm private. Because that like it's better, right?
But why you
Yeah,
want
it's
it
a
to
growth,
be transparent?
Like, because customer, na, as I said, like your customers are like, they will get to know a lot about you and those kind of things. So I think it's like an event in a journey of the company. But so another thing is we don't look at it as like it's just like an event which will happen and then we'll continue moving on. And then, as you said, like your stock also become liquid, so your old investors can figure out if they want to stay, they want to. So, yeah. Like we raise money from them, right?
Yeah.
So, like it's good to kind of have the stock liquid as well.
No, absolutely, and that is what they would be looking at as well. But are you actively working towards that? From the business point of view, in terms of changing anything at this point in time, in terms of IPO readying yourself?
So nothing like anything, nothing changes because of that, because our strategy continues to be what it is. We continue working on the products, irrespective of whether IPO, we don't care about that. And there is a small team that will continue working, but rest of the Groww like works how it has been working. And even after post that, we'll continue to be working. We'll be very transparent that we are not going to kind of change any strategy because of IPO or because of this and so on. Like Groww, our philosophy will continue to be same. We'll continue shipping the products that we are shipping and so on.
I was looking at the ad that you put out on the 2 W's in Groww. It's GROWW. So, and if I remember from memory, it has wisdom, will, wish, wealth.
Women.
Women as well. Let me add a W to that. Worry. What do you worry about today?
Well, I mean, in our business, I think the biggest factor is reputation. Right? It's about trust. So not worry, but it's like we always need to ensure that by mistake also you don't kind of hurt the reputation of the company, which is like the most important thing for us. But I mean, I would not call it worry as such. It's something like always we are like very, very kind of paranoid about.
Okay. So wisdom, what's been the biggest lesson learned along the journey so far?
Like customers, like your business is based on customers. Like, customers are everything for your business. That's like the only thing that matters.
Will, what do you have the will to do at this point in your journey?
We want to become like the default wealth platform in the country. Like people think about, okay, I want to build wealth. There is nobody else. There's Groww.
So what's the wish then?
Wish and will, I mean, grammar.
Similar?
Yeah.
One and the same?
Yeah, I mean, build like crazy amount of wealth for the country and let people be like very wealthy.
What keeps the four of you together? How's the relationship and the equation also changed, evolved over time as you've built this company, as the team has grown, as you've been able to achieve scale? What's been the change on that front?
I don't think it has changed at all,
Nope.
the relationship. I mean, the value system binds us really well, respect, mutual respect, and, respect for each other. I think the nothing actually has changed.
How much time do you guys still spend together do you spend time together outside of work?
Yeah, we do. But office mein itna time ho jata hai, like we sit together. So we don't have like desks or like rooms or something like that. We sit like everybody else, like on outside and so on. And we sit together typically because we keep brainstorming and so on. So most of the time you're just looking at them. So
looking at each other for signals. But you said that you've now treated the organization as a product because you believe building product is your strength and you're now enjoying that much more. What have you done differently in building out the organization in terms of the org structure? You just spoke about the fact that it's fairly flat.
Yeah.
It's not hierarchical. What have what have been some of the things that you've experimented within the organization?
Yeah. So this is like my favorite question. And so what we did in around 6-7 years back. So when you're thinking about a product, so in product building, there is something called PRD, product requirement document. So I thought, okay, there should be like a PRD for a company. So we call it Groww code.
Okay.
Groww code is specific way in which Groww works. We wrote down everything. Okay, what Groww stands for. What are the commandments? Of commandments is like religion. Like,
religion.
There's no black and white. This is what it is, right? There are 10 commandments. Then there are philosophies like, okay, how do you hire people? How do you take decision? Long-term decision, short-term decision, reversible, irreversible. How do you train people? How do you make yourself kind of, what is your role? So we don't have, for example, people managers. Like they are playing captains. Like then we created set of rituals. Like, there are a bunch of rituals that go. Like
religion and rituals also.
Yes. So that is how, that's our PR. Like, and then wherever there is a deviation, then you intervene. But most of the time, it's like, this is how it is, right? So so we have Project Bezos, so right, customer obsession. Like everybody is supposed to go in customer support, and now no matter how smart you are, no matter how much you know, you go and talk to customer because empathy. Empathy is very very tough. We have AIKG. We go meet customers out in AC में बैठ के product नहीं बना सकते आप, right? You can't be just kind of in your bubble and building product. You have to go out and meet.
How often do you go out?
So very often, meet so I still spend couple of hours, 1 or 2 hours every day talking to customers, support, maybe it WhatsApp or whatever, right? A lot of customers I support myself, and then we have
the high net worth ones.
No, nothing like that. Any kind of customer, right? And especially the first few
and do they know that they're interacting with you?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Now some of them are very good friends because they are very candid. See, you need those kind of customers who really feel about you and who are
and give you the real feedback.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So a lot of our product roadmap actually comes from customers. Of course, you can't build everything, but we have most of our stock. What is the reason for success of stocks on Groww? Because it was why did we launch direct mutual fund? Because it came from customers. Stocks came from customers. Trading. We actually, when we launched stocks, we thought trading to banana investing platform hai. But then customers wanted trading, and now we have so solid trading platform. Everything charts and very very advanced stuff, right? And so on. And now this. As customers got into HNI category and so on, now they need PMS, AIF, and those kind of so. Most of feedback comes from customers, and some customers really go out of their way to just ensure they will email you. Some customers will mail full documents. Yeah.
Have you tried hiring them?
Yeah, of course, but mostly and sometimes they are also very vocal. कि ये आपने बनाया ये अच्छा नहीं किया. So we have this called ritual called products. Products में हम क्या करते हैं कि आपने let's say you build product and you have to test. So the passionate customers, they will come inside in our office and they test along with you and they will clearly say यार ये अच्छा नहीं है, you do this way that way. Very passionate kind of folks and so on. Yeah.
Okay, so that's the way that you've actually put in a feedback loop to listen to customers who are actually helping you design product at Groww. But I want to go back to Project Bezos. Why did you call it Project Bezos?
Because so I was inspired by. So I've been reading his shareholder letter to shareholder since when Amazon started, and he always talks about customer obsession. So we have some kind of Sachin and Vinny used to work with Amazon. They carried customer obsession in Flipkart. And that's what I learned at Flipkart, right? The biggest learning for me at Flipkart, two things basically: customer option and scale, thinking about scale and so on. And then we carried it inside Groww. So that's to the original, as a respect to the original.
As respect. So you said you have 10 commandments, which is like religion, and then you of course have these rituals. What are the top 3 commandments there on that list?
So all 10 are they're equal, but let me. So one is
then give us all 10 very quickly.
So let me tell you the top 3. So एक तो user को मजा आना चाहिए. User should really feel about your product. Should feel simplicity, transparency. Second is always do right thing for the customer, right? Third is be unreasonable hospitality. Reasonable matlab you have to go unreasonable. And sometimes it lands us in trouble because some things are not compliant and so on. But unreasonable means customer रात में 12 बजे आपको कॉल कर रहा है, कुछ प्रॉब्लम कर रहा है. Can you solve then and there itself? Or can you go, do you worry about your P&L कि अच्छा if I serve customer in this way and then it will hurt your P&L? No. So you carve out a budget out of it. Or sometimes customer ka kuch so there are some cases customer can't transact online, so some support guy can go to his house and get whatever is required and come back, or signatures and those kind of things. So be unreasonable, and that we learn from hospitality industry also, how do these large chains chains treat you, how can you treat customer like that, right? So that is one of my another obsess or design. Design is very important for us because you're not talking to customers. Everything a customer is interacting is through
experiencing it.
Experience. Design matters a lot. Those kind of things. Be the power user of your own product, as I said. That. So I use Groww app 2 hours a day, and all my leadership team crazy power users.
But how much time do you spend trying out the competition?
So not much. So what we also, when we started, we figured out competition ko follow karenge, to then you become like an Excel sheet, right? Ye feature. So feature set of Groww is very different. And that kind of helps us to focus on customer instead of focusing on the competition. So there would be a team, of course, who do competitive intelligence, and I also do some kind of trying out new products. Trying out new products and so on. But I think we had to kind of very consciously try not to kind of focus on competitor, focus on more on customer.
You talked about providing unreasonable hospitality to the customer. Raat ko 12 baje koi phone kar raha hai, so you will take the call and deliver. But what about the employee? How employee centric is the organization? Do you put the employee also equally at the heart of? No. Why?
Customer is number one. I mean, we are very, very open about it. Customer come first, rest everybody comes later. So no, we are very clear about it.
So how do you then get people to buy into this mission, vision, and also feel like the organization is treating them perhaps not with unreasonable hospitality, but with reasonable hospitality?
What we have learned is that people love working for a purpose, and we hire people who have this purpose of building something crazy big for the customers. So the kind of people that we have are like us, who understand this very well. And I think all of us have accepted that, that it grows.
So when you see these debates rage on about 70 hours and 80 hours and 90 hours and all of that, I mean, what do you think about any of that?
I don't have any opinion on that. I don't need to have opinion on everything.
No, you don't.
There is a person who wants to work 80 hours a day, so be it. There is somebody very creative and he thinks that, out of, I can work everything in 4 hours a week, so be it. What matters is your style. I am personally a hard work. Personally, my style is to kind of spend a lot more hours and so on. But then, I mean, we don't have those kind of things. But I think sabki jiski jo marzi hai, they will work according to that.
So when you talk about crazy big, let me ask you to draw up a crazy big vision, at least over the next 5 years, that the where you would like to see Groww, what you would like to achieve in terms of numbers.
Numbers, I can't talk. And I'm not a numbers guy.
That job you've given to somebody else.
So I think I would be very happy if, we become so we are already kind of loved by customers, the kind of love that customers expresses. I think if we kind of become a household brand, which so some of the examples so Apple is one example, Nike is another example where people just kind of trust you. People think you are the default platform for managing their wealth. I think there's a crazy trust that you need there and so on, which is already we are taking those steps there. That would be that would make us really happy.
So from Lepa village to IIT Bombay to running Groww at this point in time, when you look back at your journey, what are some of the most memorable moments that you believe have helped you get to where you are today?
Okay. So, I mean, this is very, very old. I was in second standard. And I was an average student till then. And somehow, pata nahi kya hua, us class mein I got like first rank, somehow.
Huh.
And I came home and my Nanaji told me, good. That good like was the biggest thing in my life, I feel, because after that, then that was something like, I realized, ye achhi cheez hai. Getting this, and as a kid, you don't remember and so on. So that was like one of the best things that I still remember. I don't know whether it was second or third standard. I don't kind of, memory is very weak, but I think, so he has like, that's his company, my grandfather's company has been like the best thing in my life. And then, like, other thing is like all the people. So I've also been lucky to have people around me who are like super, like very caring, very high integrity. My wife, my co-founders, for example, right? And so, and I think, I mean, that's the best thing. Friends, all the people that we have worked with.
So you would say two of the most integral aspects of your leadership style are empathy, integrity. What would be the third?
I would not count empathy, by the way.
No, you're not. I thought you said empathy was
empathy for customers. Team members might not be.
Acha. So you draw the line there.
No, so I think I would say integrity, of course. Empathy, I would doubt, but more about like.
So what's the guaranteed? What's the guaranteed attribute?
I think I can paint the picture, like, okay, this is where like we are headed, like, this is what we would want to do and so on. And then third is, of course, like finding people who are like, whom I can like, whom you would have fun working with and who are like smarter, like much smarter than me and so on. That is like, I think, the bigger one.
Well, we hope you continue to paint the picture on a canvas of your choosing with the colors that reflect the ambition and the aspiration, not just of you, but also of your co-founders, as well as the 1,000+ people who are working at Groww. And we look forward to hearing more from you about the journey and the story as it shapes up, and eventually, perhaps as a listed entity as well at some point in the future. But thanks very much for joining us here on the Young Turks podcast. It's been an absolute pleasure speaking with you. I'll end by asking you, if you're talking to entrepreneurs who are looking at getting into the financial services space today, one message, ek gyan ka tukda aapse.
Regulations ka dhyan rakho.
Regulations ka dhyan rakho. Oh, that's the biggest overhang.
After customer, like after solving for the customers, I think. In typically most of other businesses, customers ka solve kar lo, business model bana lo, all good. But in financial services, it's rightly so, like you need to know regulations and so on.
Well, that's the piece of advice there from Lalit Keshre of Groww, a customer at the heart of everything that you do, but don't lose sight of the regulator or the regulations as you build a business in a regulated space like financial services. But for now, from all of us here on the Young Turks podcast, many thanks for watching. Do stay tuned. We will continue with a lot more right here on CNBC-TV18. For more news and updates, all you need to do is follow CNBC-TV18 on all of our digital platforms.